Human beings have a tendency to pursue instant pleasure. There's nothing wrong with pleasure, but very often the pursuit of instant pleasure endangers us, or at the very least, it makes us vulnerable to being taken advantage of. There's a story in Indian folklore of a man who was being chased by a tiger. And to get away from the tiger, he scrambled up a tree. And as he's climbing the tree, he bumps into a beehive. And naturally, the bees start stinging him. But when he bumped into the beehive, he broke it. And honey was starting to drip out of the beehive. And while he's being stung by these bees and being chased by the tiger, he sticks out his tongue to try and catch a little bit of honey on his tongue. This is the life of pursuing instant pleasure. We deal with so much stress and strain just to make a living, just to survive in life. And in the midst of all of these pressures, we find ourselves sticking our tongue out for a little drop of honey. Many animals get caught and killed because they have a weakness for pleasure. The fisherman catches the fish because the fish has a weakness for something on its tongue, for taste, for food. The bee enters a type of flower that closes on it and consumes it, dissolves it into liquid and consumes it. The deer has a weakness for sound. It gets frightened by sound. So when the hunter beats a drum, it scares the deer and it runs into the trap. Elephants have, during mating season, they have a weakness for touch, for flesh, for mating. And so trappers dig pits and cover them with a little bit of brush. And then when the elephant is running around pursuing a mate, it falls into this pit and it gets trapped and killed. So as human beings, it would behoove us to look at the sense pleasures that we pursue and how those pleasures endanger us, or what we might be vulnerable to as a result of those pleasures. There are countless blackmail stories of politicians or powerful people who were lured into sexual indiscretions, and they paid for it for the rest of their lives, either financially or with some political favors or whatever it may be. So this tale is as old as time. Somebody ensnares you with a pleasure that you have a weakness for and ends up taking advantage of you, ends up enslaving you. So we need to examine our attraction to sense pleasure, to instant pleasure, and consider how it might endanger us. At the simplest level, a desire for taste, a desire for certain kinds of unhealthy foods make us vulnerable to different sicknesses like diabetes, heart disease, obesity. These might be slower killers, but they're just as detrimental to your well-being. So it's important to try and examine and get a handle on, get control over our desire for instant pleasure if we want to survive and thrive in this world.